Hello everyone, welcome to the review of Unit 9, Vanishing Valedictorians. So I talked about earlier in the preview that in the state of Colorado, there is a school district that is trying to get rid of this valedictorian or ranking system. And there's some pushback, controversy around this. A lot of people think, or the prevailing idea is that it's counterproductive to have a ranking system. And so that's why this district is deciding to scrap it.
Counterproductive.
Counterproductive.
Scrap.
Scrap.
Because, they feel that it might be very harsh on the psychology of kids and their kind of motivation or their determination and even kind of their self-worth. Because if you're, bottom 50%, you're still a good student, but you're bottom half.
Right.
It's kind of, maybe it makes them feel bad. They're not, they feel stupid. They feel like they can't achieve something. When in actuality, they might feel better if no one knows a rank or position. They might do very well. They might succeed. But, to play devil's advocate for this argument is it's kind of the responsibility of the school to produce high-functioning students and developed, good grades. Maybe the sense of competition helps them prepare for the real world because, as we know, getting a job, everything is a competition.
It is.
Play devil's advocate.
Play devil's advocate.
There could be somebody equally or more qualified than you. And so they say that maybe this is a good preparation. But also is that competition and this ranking for students and success, they're not mutually exclusive. Because some students can do very well outside of a competitive environment. And maybe more students would do better when everyone feels like they're all successful or they're all doing well.
Mutually exclusive.
Mutually exclusive.
Which I know you mentioned something about your situation, very similar to this, and I wanted to ask about that. Is, they think that making education non-competitive, either could lower standards or make it feel more equal. What is your experience and what do you think?
Like I said in the preview, my school didn't have class rank, so we had no idea who was anywhere. Part of the reason for that was that it was a private school and everybody applied to get in and got selected, and so
you're all smart.
They didn't want to go further and rank all of those people because everybody had their talents and not everybody was necessarily book smart. Like we had an Olympic hockey player and people who were really good at music and people who were really good at poetry or something else. So grades, they didn't want to emphasize grades as the most important measure of a person's total worth, which I think was good, and it didn't make us less competitive. Because I think by our nature, we did enjoy studying and we enjoyed sports and competition and other things like that. So everybody was very naturally competitive, and so everybody wanted to get good grades, not to be the #1 rank, but for college or for other things. So I don't think that not ranking students makes them less competitive. I think anybody with a goal after high school is going to work hard to achieve that goal. But I think that taking away the ranks does lessen some of the pressure, and it's especially helpful for the people in the bottom half. I would hate to be number 1,000 in a class of 1,000 people.
Right.
That would feel really terrible, even if the general level of the school is still really high. Right. So I personally don't think that ranks add anything to the school experience. How about you?
I'm definitely inclined to agree with that. Now, my experience was the kind of traditional public school in America where, there's ranking.
Right.
I think I talked about that in the preview. Good friends of mine were all top 20 students, and, there's the natural competition among them because they're driven, they're smart, and, they didn't care who moved above each other, among the friends. Although I did say that, yeah, the #1 student of valedictorian.
Who was not in the friend group.
We felt like he didn't deserve it because he transferred. And it's like, oh, you stole that spot. But a very smart guy, went on to MIT. I don't know what he does now. Probably, I don't know.
Probably
solving
successful.
road problems or something. Or sold his soul to a big tech giant.
Also possible.
But the thing was that we really didn't care. And like you kind of mentioned, among the successful students, that number, that ranking doesn't matter.
Right.
But I think it did alienate kind of the bottom percentile, the bottom percentage of students.
Right.
Made them feel stupid compared to when, in retrospect, looking at it, like they had passing grades.
Yeah.
They were doing fine, and their areas of interest in life weren't necessarily studying or pursuing that.
Right.
But I don't know. I think this might do good in the state of Colorado where that district is, but we'll have to wait to see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for our review section. We'll see you on the next one.